everyone. It wasn't working at first, but I think everything should be working now. I'm just going to wait a few minutes to see if any other people are going to join our Hangout. Oh, and I'm Erin Foley, by the way. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Those of you who just joined, I'm just going to wait maybe 2 more minutes and see if anybody else joins us, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so I think what we'll do right now is get started. If everybody could just disable the video chat feature, what you'll do is essentially, I'll just show you right now really quickly. There should be a microphone up at the top of your screen. There should also be a camera icon. If you click on both of those, that'll turn your microphone and camera off. Because what happens is anytime Google Hangouts hears a noise from one of you, if you have your camera on and your microphone on, what ends up happening is it will automatically switch the screen from what I'm showing to your face and your audio. So what we're going to do is use the group chat feature that's on the right-hand side. It's just going to take me a moment right now. I'm just going to configure my screen so that you'll be able to see my screen on the left-hand side and then be able to view group chat on the right. Okay. I don't think it's sharing my screen yet. Right now, I clicked on share, and it appears as though everything's sort of frozen. Okay, I think it might be working now. Sorry about the delay. Okay, right now, if you could just confirm in the chat feature if you can hear me and also see my screen. Okay, hooray. I definitely need to get a new laptop. This laptop I'm on has just not been cooperating with me lately, so I do apologize. Hopefully by next week I'll be purchasing something new. All right, so anyway, welcome to our first session of Digital Escape Room. So What I'm going to be showing you today is just kind of an overview of how you can use Google Drawings in order to be able to create your own digital escape room. Basically, each week we'll be focusing on a different Google tool. And anybody who's taking the course for credit, what you'll be doing is sort of compiling a collection of Google Drawing, a Google Sheet, a Google Doc, a Google Site, that's all going to be sort of put into one digital escape room. Oh, and Google Forms as well. So anyway, what we're going to do right. Okay, I think I might be back. I apologize. Could everybody just confirm that you can hear me and see my screen, and do that through chat? Okay. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just kind of play a quick video that shows sort of a completed digital escape room. As much as I'd love to take credit for this, this was not created by me. But essentially what this video is going to do is it's going to show you sort of what a completed digital escape room looks like. And for those of you who are taking the course for credit, you'll essentially be creating something similar to what this shows. I'm just pulling up the video right now. And what I'll do too is probably after this hangout, I'll put this video into Google Classroom. That way other people will be able to view it as well. I'm just going to fast forward just a little bit here to kind of the more relevant part. All right, again, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit to the next relevant part. All right, again, just going to fast forward just a little bit. Okay. Oh, not hearing the audio of the video. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Sorry about that. I will. All right, I'm just going to share this. So here's the link to the video. I guess what we'll have to do is just kind of view it at your leisure. But anyway, so just to kind of show you really quickly, in this Google site, you're going to see, you know, you've got this Google drawing that has hidden links. You also have a form that has what we call response validation. And what that does is it doesn't let you continue on until you end up answering all the questions correctly. So for today, what we're going to do is we're just going to be focusing on the Google drawing portion. And then next week, I'll kind of show everybody how that's going to tie into a fully created escape room. All right, so as it kind of showed in the video, which unfortunately I didn't get to, you know, probably was a little confusing because of the fact that we didn't have the audio there. Can everybody at least confirm that you're able to see my screen and hear me speaking right now? Okay. So yeah, I apologize for the fact that the video content wasn't broadcasting to you, but so essentially all of your resources that we'll be creating are going to be posted onto a Google site. Today we're just going to focus on the Google drawing portion. So anyway, right now I'm just going to show everybody. So when you're in Google Drive, you would simply click on More and Google Drawings. We're going to focus on showing how you can hide embedded links, as well as how you can create a decoder. All right, it's just taking a moment to load, unfortunately. Okay. Anyway, so right now what I'm going to do is show everybody how they can create sort of a coded message in a Google Drawing. And the reason that we use Google Drawings is because of the fact that you're able to use multiple layers. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to insert a text box. And I'm just going to make this a nice big text box that pretty much takes up the entirety of my drawing. Okay, and then from here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a larger font. I'll go with, I guess, size, I'll maybe go a little larger just for the purposes of what we're doing right now. And then from here, we're going to choose a font color. And this is what's going to be important. So you kind of want to decide. I find that red works pretty well for secret messages, but actually what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go with blue. And I'm literally just going to type some gibberish right now. And you'll see how this is going to relate to our secret message. Okay. Unfortunately, it's just, I'm experiencing some very slow Wi-Fi right now, unfortunately. Okay, so add a little more gibberish. Okay. Anyway, so let's see, probably just need some spaces here. Once you have your gibberish text, what you're going to do, I just recommend centering it. I find that a little bit easier. So then what we're going to do now, I'm just going to make it bold. So I kind of want to make the text box a little bigger if I'm going to do that then. All right, and then from here, what you want to do is you're going to create your own kind of your own color using the color palette. So we're just going to click in the text box right now and click on the paint can. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom color, and this is going to allow us to make it somewhat transparent. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on custom. I'm going to go with a blue color. So I'm just going to drag my hue over. And then I'm going to go with the transparency, and I would maybe go like roughly about 50%. I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Oh, I meant for that to be the text color. Let's see. Okay, so now that I've made that custom color, I actually don't want to make that the fill color. I want to make that the text color. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that text. And then when I click on the text color button, I'm going to see that custom color. That custom color is going to be important for actually making your secret message. Okay, so, and actually what I'm going to do right now is I just need to copy it from the paint can. So I'm just going to go over here. You're going to notice that when you click on it, it comes up with the hex value. So actually, I'm just going to go ahead back over to my custom fill color and, oh, sorry. Just make that once more. Okay, so there's what I need right there is this this hex value. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that and then hit OK. Whoops, I just want to make the actual text box transparent. Then what I'm going to go do here is make sure that I have the same hex value that I just copied and pasted. So paste. It keeps wanting to go back to the original. Let's see. Okay. Anyway, so then what you're going to be doing, I'm just going to pull up an example of what that should look like when it's finished. So essentially what you're going to do is you're just going to have a couple of different colors of semi-transparent text. So, you know, you can have kind of just a couple of different random gibberish texts. So this one right here, what I'll do is I'll choose a different color, probably like more of a pinkish or actually a yellowish color. Again, what I would want to do is customize it and make it so that it's partially transparent. Right now, I'm just going to show an example of one that's completely finished so that you get an idea of what it's going to look like. Because as of right now, just want to be able to give you a good idea. All right. Okay, here we are. Okay, so here's an example of essentially what it would look like when you're finished. So you've got these layers of different colored text, and they're somewhat transparent, as you can see. And I apologize for the lag. It's still finishing loading. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just going to show you really quickly. We've got sort of these different layers of text. So here we've got the actual message that we want our students to be able to read. And then we have this other text that's on top of it. Now, what you can do is you can create sort of a viewer so that students will be able to view the secret message. What you're actually going to do is you're going to save this so that students wouldn't actually be able to edit the text. So I'm going to show you that in a moment. And I'm just going to copy my other, again, sorry for the delay. So your students are going to see sort of this gibberish. It's going to be difficult to read, but essentially what you're going to want them to be able to read is the stuff that's in blue. What you want to do is, oh goodness, I will definitely be using a different device the next time we go to do a live Hangouts. Unfortunately, everything is taking a very, very long time to load. All right, so the way that students would reveal what is in the secret message is they would have to either draw a shape that would reveal it. Depending on the age group of students that you have, you might choose to give them this shape already, but if you're working with older students, you might just tell them that they have to use a certain tool by using shapes and fill colors and transparency in order to view it. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and draw what would be sort of the red reveal to reveal the secret message. So I'm just going to go ahead, draw a circle, and then I'm going to change the fill color to a custom fill color. And the fill color is going to be red, and it's going to be partially transparent. So we essentially have partially transparent text, and we have partially transparent shape here. So then what that's going to do is notice when I put it over the text, I'm able to see my secret message a lot more clearly. What I recommend too is I'm just going to go ahead and move this out of the way just for a second. I'm just going to change this font size to make it roughly the same font size as the gibberish text. I think maybe that would be about 24-ish. No, that would be probably like 22. Maybe go a little smaller, 20. All right. But you kind of want to make sure that the gibberish text and the, and the secret message text are kind of a similar size, because that's just going to make it a little bit harder to read. Actually, I probably would have gone a little bit smaller, but here, I'll just do this really quickly because this is going to kind of drive me a little bit nuts. All right, so let's say it was maybe about 18. And again, you can kind of experiment with the text colors to make them even harder to read. So here in this case, I'm just going to scoot this back up a bit now. And all right, so now it's definitely harder to be able to read the blue text. And so then what you would do is you would have sort of this tool, this, we call it sort of the red reveal, which is this circle. And what that would do is once you put it over, you would be able to sort of view the text a lot easier. Now you can say that it says hi there, whereas if I don't do that, it makes it a lot harder to be able to view. So anyway, what I recommend, I'm actually just going to delete this, this little circle for now. And I'm just going to go ahead and take all of my stuff. Oops. Just going to select everything and just kind of scoot it over. All right. And obviously your messages can be as long or as short as you want them. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on File, Download As, and then I'm just going to do it as a JPEG image. And I'll show you why we're going to do that in a moment. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm just going to go ahead and select everything and delete it. And I'm going to put the JPEG version on this drawing. And I'm going to show you what that will do. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and insert I'm going to upload the JPEG that I just downloaded, which seems a bit redundant. I understand that, but here we are. You'll see why we're going to do this in a minute. Okay, so essentially what that did is it created a version that is all one layer. So in other words, if students were to try and move this around, it moves everything together. So that essentially means that they wouldn't be able to take apart the layers of the secret message. And then from there, what they would be able to do is, again, depending on the age of the students that you're working with, you might choose to give them the shape. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of draw that red circle that has the partially transparent color here. So again, you would have students sort of click and drag, or they could use the arrow keys. And what that'll do is it'll reveal the secret message. So really, I would say the easiest way to do this, if you were doing this with younger kids, is you would explicitly teach them how they could click on the circle and then either use the arrow keys or click and drag in order to be able to reveal the secret message. If I were working with slightly older students, I might just give them something like this, and then they have to figure out how they would use the circle in order to decode the message. If I were working with even older students, and if I wanted to take it a step further, I might tell them that, that they have to experiment with creating shapes and using the transparent shape feature to be able to decode the message. So in other words, if I were doing this, let's say with high school kids, I wouldn't even give them the shape. I would say to them that, that there's a way that you can draw shape and change the transparency to create sort of a lens that you would be able to drag over the message in order to be able to view it. So anyway, so that's sort of the secret message portion of the escape room. So again, what you'll do is those of you who are taking this for credit, one of the requirements is going to be to create sort of a secret message similar to what we see here, where students would have to use the red lens in order to be able to reveal the secret message. The other thing that we're going to cover is how to include secret links in a Google Drawing. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to start a new Google Drawing. Can I just confirm that everybody's still with me? If you could just type in on the side. Oh, good. I'm so worried because of all the technical difficulties that I've been having today. All right. So anyway, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to search for just kind of a scene in Google Images. Okay, I'm just going to go with this this photo of the interior of the Louvre Museum. So I'm just going to go ahead. Whoops, I wanted to right click on it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy that image, and then I'm going to put it into a new Google Drawing. Okay. Again, sorry for the delay. Oh, goodness. All right, next week I will definitely be using a different device. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and resize this photo so that it takes up essentially my entire drawing. Okay, and I'm just going to double click to crop it here. Okay. So now essentially I've got this drawing. Let's say, for example, I wanted the students to recognize the white horse in the painting. Let's say that was just something that I wanted to bring to my attention to my students. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to include a secret link. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to bring my students to the actual Louvre Museum website. I'm just going to go ahead and look that up. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this link. All right. So you have the option, of course, to add shapes. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little rectangle. I'm just going to put it right over here on the white horse. You'll notice, of course, that it automatically fills it in with a color, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make it transparent. I'm also going to make the border transparent. Then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Insert Link button, and then I'm going to paste the URL of our secret link. So then what you want to do, so now you'll notice that when you're viewing this, let's say, for example, that you were to give this image to students and you wanted them to figure out where it was. So, where is this painting located? What they would have to do, of course, is they would have to find the secret link. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to show you, let's say you were going to go ahead and share this with somebody. So you would go ahead and share, and you would want to make it view only so that it can't be edited. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this, let's call it digital escape drawing. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and share this with my other account. So I'm just going to make this so that it can view. Okay, and so I'm just going to go ahead and send that to myself. So I'm just going to show you now what that would look like from a student point of view. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch accounts really quickly. Okay, and go into shared with me. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay. Again, sorry about the delay, just trying to switch accounts. Okay. You could make it a JPEG. The only reason that you might not make it a JPEG is, yeah, actually it wouldn't really matter as long as you have the links on it. In order for the links to function though, it would need to be in a Google Drawing file. The reason that we took the first one and made it into a JPEG was so that students couldn't alter the jumbled text. Because the jumbled text consisted of a red layer, a yellow layer, and a blue layer. And I wouldn't want students to be able to take those 3 layers apart. So that's why we saved that particular one as a JPEG. Anyway, it's just, hold on. It's funny, I just switched over to my other account that I shared this with, but it's still going onto my editable drawing. I just want to show you from my other account. That way you could see what it would look like for a student who did not have editing access. So basically for this, you're going to share it with students, but it's going to be a view-only file. That is so that way they can't edit it, whereas with the sort of the secret message, you do want students to at least be able to edit by moving the little viewfinder. So now you'll notice what essentially happens is then from there, I'm able to bring up the secret link. But the thing is, as the student, you would have to click on it in order to bring it up. So basically the student will see this. Now, again, depending on the level of students that you're working with, you might want to tell them specifically that they need to click on certain items in the drawing to be able to get sort of the secret portal to get to the link to where they need to be. So let's just say, for example, you had a question for them about where is this painting located, and they have to be able to find the secret link to discover it. You might tell them that they need to actually click on certain things within it to try and find the link, or again, if you're working with older students, you might not even tell them that. You know, you might kind of just leave them to their own devices to figure it out. But in this case, like I work with middle school students, I would probably tell them, you know, that you're going to have to click in certain places, you know, and so they'll go around with their pointers and click, 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 click. And then when they click on the right spot, it takes them to the link. They'd be able to click on it, and then they would be able to answer the question. So basically what you can do is you can provide students with, you know, sort of a drawing like that, and then have, you know, those secret links within it, and give them a set of questions. And in order to be able to answer the questions, they're going to have to find the secret links within the drawing. You could do that with multiple drawings as well. Even though I happen to do it in a Google Drawing, you technically could do something like this in a Google slideshow as well, if you wanted to have like multiple pages of secret links, you know, like multiple drawings with secret links. You could essentially do the exact same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and take it from here, and then, hold on, I'm just going to switch over accounts. So what I could essentially do is, if I wanted to, I could do this in Google Slides as well. But the reason I mention that as a Google Slide as well is just because if, let's say, for example, you wanted to have multiple drawings sort of in the same format, you would be able to put it onto Google Slides. So if you wanted to provide students with, let's say, 4 drawings, all with different secret links, you could put it into a slideshow as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate that really quickly. So essentially, you would just do the same exact thing as far as adding, sorry for the delay, it's not even letting me edit this at this point. You would simply paste your background, create your invisible, you know, sort of your transparent shape with the invisible link the same way. And then you would share it with your students as a view-only file. This lag is driving me absolutely crazy. So I'm simply trying to delete the title and subtitle and then paste my own stuff on here. All right. Okay. So anyway, in this case, what you would be able to do is if you wanted to add additional slides with additional secret links, that's where you might want to choose to use it in a slideshow as opposed to a drawing, again, just so that you can have multiples all within the same file. Anyway, what you would do, I'm just going to go ahead and title this Digital Escape. And right now, and then also too, if you wanted to, you could embed directions if you were to do it this way. You know, you could have, like, let's say slide 1 would give a set of directions and then slide 2 would give, you know, sort of what to do. Again, what you would want to do is you would want to make sure that you share it with students simply as a view only. So that's what I'm going to do right now, is share that as a view only. Another thing you can do as well is if you don't want students to be able to have any editing features, because of course, if you were to share it this way, what would happen is students could create their own copy of it and then be able to edit it. So I'm just going to show you really quickly. So it's just going to take a moment, unfortunately, to load. We will be wrapping up in about 5 minutes, by the way. So typically what we're going to do is kind of try to limit some of our Hangouts to be about an hour long. Okay, hopefully this loads at some point. Okay. All right, so this is going to show it in view only mode. So that being said, come on. So this is another option that is available to you. So if you wanted to have multiple drawings, come on and load, come on. I apologize. Okay. Okay, so now we're looking at it from a view-only perspective. So essentially, the students wouldn't be able to edit it, but they would simply be able to click on it to be able to access the secret links. Another thing that you can do as well is you can publish it to the web. What this would do is you could give students a link so that they wouldn't actually be able to make a copy of it. So I'm just going to demonstrate what that's going to look like. So here's my original. Okay. You can click on, and this option can work. Yep, so what you could do also, we're going to do file and publish to the web. And then we can say, let's say, for example, we're just going to do auto advanced slides every minute because we don't necessarily want it to switch from one slide to the next. And I'm just going to start slideshow as soon as the player loads and hit publish. Click OK. What that's going to do is it's going to come up with a URL. And if we copy and paste that URL, so I'm just going to go ahead and open that in another tab. What that's going to do is it's just going to bring up a version that you can view, and that's it. So then from there, you'll notice that when I rest my pointer over the horse, see how it turns into the hand. So that's a way that I could share it with students. Now, the advantage of sharing it this way is, again, with this published link, it's not like they can make their own copy of it to be able to edit it and mess with it. So this is a good alternative to using the Google Drawings. So you'll notice that when I put my pointer on my horse, I click, and then it's going to bring me to my secret link. So anyway, that's pretty much it for what we're doing today. What I plan on doing, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to do this before the Hangout because I was actually busy teaching some other PD sessions for the MTA this week. I'm going to be posting probably like within the next day an example of what a completed escape room looks like. But in the meantime, just so you know, the decoder and the either slideshow or drawing with secret links, those are going to be two of the components that you're going to include in your final project. For those of you who decide to do this for graduate credit. I did post the information about the final project in Google Classroom along with the rubric as far as how it's going to be graded. Does anybody have any other questions up to this point? All right, I guess not. Oh, how can we view this chat again? Good question. So within probably 15 minutes or so, it will publish to YouTube, and I'll post the link to it in Google Classroom. I was going to say, basically what happens with this live Hangout is once I end it, it'll just take, I would say, approximately 10 to 15 minutes for it to fully load and publish on YouTube. And then I'll just put the published URL to it in Classroom. And so you'll be able to view this in the future. And we'll be doing that for all the other chats that we do. So anyway, any other questions? Oh yeah, I totally agree, Sheila. No, I totally understand. So that's why I'm going to put it, I will put that up probably within the next day or so. I will definitely make sure that I get that out by end of the day Friday. All right, any other questions? All right, so anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and end this Hangout now. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to talking with everybody next week.